Hello, this is Victor. I'm here with a new sit and talk, and topic of the week is started by Vince Venturella, and this time he's talking about second hand market and out of print armies. And yeah, this is like two topics in one. And then the first part is where we acquire our miniatures, and then if we collect or not, or we do something about out of print markets. Let's start with the first point, and for me both are related because first of all I use three different ways to buy my miniatures. I buy to the Games Workshop store from time to time because I go there to play. I spend their time. I think they do a good service. They're very supportive. They organize tournaments, they organize activities, and I think if I go there to play, they never ask me to buy there, but I think it's good practice to contribute and buy because they do the effort. You want the shop to keep running, and you want to be welcome there. So I participate in the tournaments, I participate in the painting contests, I participate in several things there. So I think it makes sense for me then to spend some money. But at the same time, I realize that sometimes it's too expensive, or sometimes it's not the best moment for me to spend, and I look on also on retail by internet, because here I don't have a lot of, or I'm not aware of a lot of local stores, so I just go to internet, normally to Element Games, and I buy them there some stuff from time to time. So these are the two main sources when it comes to new kits. And then I also look on eBay, and this is really like periods in my life where I look a lot on eBay. I start seeking for opportunities, and I try to buy the opportunities. For example, especially when I try to look for, and here we come to the second topic, I go to eBay especially when I want to look for out of print armies or out of print miniatures. All my Space Marines is an army that you can do very easily in eBay. They are very cheap deals, you can find almost any bit that you want out there. So it's an army that really, except if you want the last unit launched by Games Workshop, and even that you just wait a couple of months and you will find there are some units from the Space Marines. So Space Marines, it's a thing that I supply. I will say I supplied almost 100% of my army from, if it's not 100%, it's going to be 90% from eBay. I have a lot of miniatures bought there, some of them painted and I have to strip the paint, some of them just on beads, and to be able to personalize, because I also wanted to personalize completely my army. I wanted to go for a very specific look, and I wanted some specific bits. And I find eBay, there are some shops in eBay that they really have good deals with beads, and you can find them. And normally you pay a little bit more for these beads, but I think it's a great way to be able to personalize your army, to do the army with your own touch. So these are the three main sources, or I use the three of them. I will say that it depends a lot on the period in the year, on how I'm going, the money, how much I'm going to the shop or not, and all these type of things. So I supply from one part or the other. About out of print, so I like a lot some of the old miniatures. And in the Space Marines, for example, I wanted to use the old Razorbacks, not because they are smaller, and just because I like the old Razorbacks with the turret with the Space Marine on top. I like a lot the look of the old Razorbacks, so I was looking in eBay, and they are pretty cheap. Also the old Rhinos, you can find them, because if I'm using the old Razorbacks, I also want to use the old Rhinos to keep the same aesthetic. And these are very cheap. I think the last time I bought Rhinos below 10 euros. So what means that you have very good deals. Of course, some of them are a little bit damaged, but I have beads. If not, you can find beads to repair them. It's not that difficult. And I think if you want cheap rhinos, that you just go to eBay and you can find that. You also can buy the last version without too many difficulties. Okay, but of course there is one army that I'm collecting, and most likely Bretonia will fall as well. But I'm collecting Dogs of War, and I'm still interested in increasing my army. Although I have about according to the old book that I have, I was about 3,000 points. But most of my units were bought on eBay. For example, the Bronzinos cannons, I bought them on eBay because they were out of print when I wanted to finalize. I had only one in the past, I wanted to complete to 3, so I had to go to eBay. I used to have the Birds of Katradza only 5. I find a very nice deal to obtain 3 more Birds of Katradza. I just increased my unit size. Al-Qatani, I think I bought the pikemen. I think I bought 2 of the 3 renowned regiments in eBay. I had the Leopolds, bought very expensively to Games Workshop before they delist them from the website. But then I bought the other regiments of renown in eBay. So this is another reason why I go to eBay, because I like these old miniatures. Also in Chaos, from time to time, I look there to find some of the old sculpts. I don't like them all the sculpts, but from time to time, it's a way for me to have something that is looking different, no? I love a lot, for example, the previous version of the Bloodletters. And I have a unit of the previous version and a unit of the new version of the Bloodletters. But there are some units that I like a lot. For example, if you want to have the Juan Diaz Demonettes, I go to eBay. These are great miniatures. Of course, very expensive. And you have to be very careful when you are looking in eBay, because you have to be very selective, you have to be very patient. You cannot go. This is one of the things that you have to learn when you go to eBay. You cannot acquire what you want instantly. It's not like I want Judicators, I go to any online store, I click and I have the Judicators ordered, and in 1 week are going to be at home. eBay, you have to be much more patient. Sometimes it takes a lot of time, and you have to be careful also. So sorry. So it's another page, and you have to you know that you have to be careful, because you don't know exactly when you will have this miniature in your collection, because you don't know how fast the seller will send the miniatures to you. Normally I try to use some power sellers, some sellers that have good reputation, or sell a lot, or that I bought before and I know that they are very responsive. But from time to time you find a very nice opportunity on a new seller, or on a seller that is not that popular, and you take the risk. And and normally sometimes it takes longer than what you expected to get the miniatures, to have the miniatures with you. So you have to be patient. Also, there is a lot of abuse on out of print armies, because it seems that because it's out of print, they can charge these people that think they can charge what they want. So don't be also crazy with some of the of what they ask. I have this experience on Dogs of War. I have found some of the units that are really expensive. The average is about, we'll say, between 5 to 10 euros per miniature on the unit, and then suddenly you find someone that is just selling part of his army, and you find a very nice deal. So you have to be patient. You have to be almost controlling eBay in a daily basis, because you don't know when this offer will come, and maybe you have to do this for long periods. And if you don't have this passion, then you have to be willing to pay a lot, because sometimes the deals that normally you find are quite expensive. So these are about the topic of the week. Some advices, some tips about buying in eBay. I did mistakes in the past. Sometimes I bought something more expensive than what I wanted, but I wanted no. And when you want it at the moment, instantly, then is when you don't have this passion, is when you pay sometimes too much for something. And yeah, and that's all what I wanted to talk about the topic. So just summarizing, I use 3 channels to acquire my miniatures: Games Workshop store, online retail, and eBay. Basically, my second-hand market is eBay. And I like to look sometimes for some collectionist miniatures. Although I will not go to these crazy miniatures that they ask 600 euros, 300 euros. I will not go for these crazy things. So yeah, if I don't have them, they will not be in my collection. I like some of the out of print miniatures, and yeah, and as I'm collecting Dogs of War, there is not other way to get them than secondary market, and in that case I go to normally to eBay. That's all for now. I hope you find it interesting, and if you want to know a little bit more, please don't hesitate in leaving a comment and making questions. Yeah, as I say, that's all for now. As usual, comment, like if you like it. Let me know what do you think. Are you using secondary market? Where is your please participate, because this is coming from this topic started by Vince Venturella. I will link the original video from Vince Venturella in the comments below, in the video description below. Sorry. You can go there and find the original video with the questions that Vince Venturella is doing to the community and asking to talk about this topic of this week. I think it's great to have these conversations every week from on different topics. I really thank you, Vince, to put this together and to give something to talk about. And yeah, and that's all for now. As I said, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.